Imagine a family sitting in a doctor's office, hearing that someone's kidneys are slowly losing function because of a tiny mistake in their DNA. You probably don't use a company like ELOXX directly. Almost nobody does. But the problem it's chasing is painfully human. Can a medicine help the body read past a genetic stop sign? That's the doorway into Eloxx Pharmaceuticals. This is the cursor stocks, and the simple question for this IPO is ELOXX a real medicine business already, or a big bet on what it might become? The answer starts with one drug candidate, Exaluren, and two rare kidney disease targets. ELOXX is not starting from a corner pharmacy story. The company says its main program is Exaluren for Alport syndrome and ADPKD when those diseases are caused by nonsense-mutations, which are genetic stop signs appearing too early. In 2024, it also licensed a rare skin disease program to Almirall, giving the story one outside partnership. Here's what ELOXX is trying to do in plain English. Your cells read genetic instructions to make proteins, and sometimes a bad instruction says stop too soon. Exaluren is designed to help the cell continue reading, so it may make a fuller, more useful protein. That's the hope, not an approved product. The company is focusing on small genetic subgroups, not every kidney patient. It says about 7% of Alport patients and about 26% of ADPKD patients may fit the nonsense-mutation category. For a beginner, that matters, because rare disease investing is usually about a small group with a very specific need, not a giant mass-market pill. So how would ELOXX make money if this works? Not from drug sales today, because the company says Exaluren is investigational and not approved by the FDA or any regulator. The money engine would come later. Clinical success, approval, pricing, insurance coverage, and doctors actually using the drug for the right genetic patients. Now the IPO moment. An IPO is when a company sells tiny ownership pieces, called shares, on the stock market. Eloxx's offering closed on June 9, 2026, on NASDAQ under the ticker ELOX at $11 per share, with 6 million shares offered and about $32.76 million raised. That $32.76 million is not giant company money. In biotech terms, it's more like fuel for the next stretch of work. Trials, staff, manufacturing planning, and staying alive long enough to see whether the science holds up. For our kidney story, the money is really buying time to test whether that genetic stop sign can be worked around. Why go public at all? A company like this needs cash before it has a finished medicine, and public markets can provide that cash. It also gives early backers a path to future liquidity, which just means a way to eventually turn paper ownership into cash. But visibility cuts both ways. The headline number that's missing is also important. A full IPO valuation, the price tag for the whole company, isn't part of the headline terms here. That makes the beginner takeaway simpler. Don't judge this only by the share price. A cheap-looking $11 share can still be expensive if the whole company is priced aggressively. The bull case begins with need. The company says current care for these nonsense-mutation conditions is aimed at symptoms or organ replacement, not a targeted fix for the genetic stop sign itself. If Exaluren can show real clinical benefit, ELOXX wouldn't just be selling another kidney drug. It could be opening a more precise treatment category. The partnership angle helps too. According to reporting, the Almirall license around ZKN013 had $5.4 million accrued and could include up to $464 million in possible milestone payments. Milestones are payments that only arrive if certain development or sales goals happen, so they're encouraging, but they're not the same as guaranteed cash. But here's where the story gets more interesting. The same thing that makes ELOXX exciting also makes it risky. The science is still being tested. A genetic stop sign sounds easy to explain in one sentence, but proving a drug can safely and meaningfully change patients' lives takes years, money, and clean trial results. That's why the pipeline stage matters. Phase 2B means the drug is still in human testing before the larger proof stage investors usually want to see. ADPKD is even earlier in planning. So the question isn't just, does this idea sound smart? It's, can ELOX move from promising biology to evidence strong enough for doctors and regulators? Now let's translate the financial reality. Revenue is money coming in before expenses. Profit is what's left after bills are paid. ELOX's central product story is still clinical, not commercial. So investors are watching cash burn, which is how fast the company spends money to keep trials moving before a medicine can pay for itself. Competition here doesn't only mean another company with the same exact drug, it also means today's care, other kidney disease research, trial recruitment, doctor attention, insurer comfort, and the brutal fact that patients can't wait forever. ELOX has to prove that its approach is not just scientifically interesting, but meaningfully better for the people whose kidneys are at risk. This is the part investors will argue about. An $11 IPO price and a $32.76 million raise sound concrete, but the business behind them is still mostly a future promise. If Exaluren works, today's numbers may look small. If the trials disappoint, even a modest raise can feel like money spent chasing a door that won't open. Who gets the money is a useful beginner question for any IPO. Here, the headline offering raised about $32.76 million, but you still want to read the prospectus for the exact split of company proceeds, fees, and any selling holders. Also check the lockup, the waiting period when insiders usually can't sell yet. Now that ELOX is trading, don't watch only the first day stock move. Watch 3 plain signals. Does the Alport trial produce convincing data? Does the ADPKD program actually move forward? And does the Almirall partnership keep progressing? Those are the things that connect the stock chart back to the kidney patient in the doctor's office. So here's the balanced version. ELOX is easy to care about because the mission is clear. Help patients whose bodies hit a genetic stop sign too early. But it's also easy to misunderstand, because a moving mission is not the same as a proven medicine, and a public ticker doesn't remove clinical risk. If you're new to investing, this is the lesson. Start with what the company sells, who needs it, how money could arrive, and what could break. For ELOX, that means Exaluren, rare kidney patients, trial success, and science risk. Follow the cursor stocks for IPO stories in plain English. This video is for information and education only, not financial advice.